If you want to catch us live, come hang out, ask us questions, go over to our Twitch, twitch.com/daydreamermedia. Click the follow along button, click the notification bell, never miss whenever we go live. It's playoff time. We got to get some wins. So come get your questions answered here at the Fantasy Daydreamers. Welcome into the Fantasy Daydreamers podcast. I am JJ. You guys can follow me on Twitter at JJ Daydreamers. With me, I got Keone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody of all denominations. You can see me making I was gonna go one way and then I decided against it. But
that's good. I like that.
Yeah. It's what did they say? It's cuffing season, so I'm cuffing the Twitters on all, so you can see those every weekends for this fantasy playoff season. And the only place you can cuff along with me is at Daydreamer Keone on Twitter.
So are you saying you are available to be cuffed?
I suppose I am. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah. I heard he likes being the little spoon, ladies.
Hey, if you're,
who doesn't?
It's all about warmth.
That.
We need some comfort these days.
That's Ryan.
What's up, guys? ROKKO. Daydreamer. Check me out there on Twitter.
Yeah, go ahead and tell your friends, follow along, subscribe, like whatever it's called on whatever platform you are listening to this, and tell your friends to subscribe to. Even if they don't listen, tell them to just subscribe. It's free.
I never said this before, but I also follow back on Twitter.
Oh yeah, me too. Let's get into some news. Ryan's writing that off on his taxes as his charity. I follow back on Twitter. TurboTax. Thank you.
I'm gonna stop using TurboTax. Shit's starting to get confusing.
On purpose.
Yeah. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor is dealing with a high ankle sprain. Looks like his season is going to be over.
Yeah, that's why they lost that game.
Truly a season that never begun.
Kind of feels like it.
Let's just move on from the Colts.
Jalen Hurts dealing with a shoulder sprain, could miss some time.
Not good for playoffs.
Yeah,
terrible.
This is not great for fantasy. They said it's not a long-term injury. Yeah, it's not good for fantasy.
Playing against the Cowboys this week,
if it's Gardner Minshew, I would start AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. I don't think I would start Devontae Smith, and I would start Miles Sanders as well. I know Miles Sanders had a bad game, but they're going to lean on in this game if Hurts is out.
Minshew. I feel you.
I would say this: if I was a person who had Jalen Hurts, I'd be rooting for the Cowboys because if they win, I don't think they play versus the Saints.
Yeah.
And then you have to lose them in your championship game as well.
I gotta be honest, I'm scared to start Miles Sanders against that Cowboys defense. I know that
ETN had 100. I don't know.
They've been getting the Texans had a good game against them, and then the Jaguars had a good game against them. I think they're gonna come to play against this Eagles team, and so I don't know if I'm not excited to start Miles Sanders is all I'm saying. Before this week, Texans placed running back Dameon Pierce on the IR, so his season is over. Good rookie season there from him.
I think he's a solid RB2 guy for the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry, rest of his until the Texans are good. So maybe his career.
Yeah. Could be. Falcons running back Caleb Huntley's season is over with an Achilles injury.
Rough.
Yeah.
Guess he's-
Undrafted guy that, who knows if
End of
he
the year
gets
too.
another chance.
Probably
Mhm.
ruin him for dynasty.
Yeah.
Cardinals quarterback Colt McCoy left early with a concussion and was replaced by Trace McSorley. This is not good news for the Cardinals.
Oh my goodness. This is
Third string quarterback now.
There's only two guys you can play from the Cardinals: Hopkins and Connor. Simple.
yeah. Basically, you said it last week and just got to reiterate it now even more.
Yeah, but with Cole, you could still play Brown and know that he was gonna get some targets. But I mean,
Competent backup compared
Yeah.
to Trace McSorley.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they already putting out the rumors. They call Sean Payton already. They about to spend so much money.
Mm.
And the Packers release wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
Oh no. Maybe it will be his if he gets picked up. Maybe you can play him because it'll be like his first week with another team.
I wouldn't be holding my breath.
No, I know. But it's just first week, Sammy.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. You know what? Yeah, that's fucking thinking for you. That's the outside the box thinking that gets you to steal a championship.
All right, that'll do it for the news. Let's get into some Week 15 awards. All right, if you could go back in time and switch a player from your bench into your starting lineup, who would it be? This is the If I Had One Wish award.
If I had one wish.
All right, Rondre Stevenson. I want to put him in. I didn't think he was gonna play. He only practices limited on Friday. He had the ankle. I wasn't sure, man. I put Pashenko over him, and Stevenson played and got all the work and dominated, and it hurts, I was even looking at Sunday morning trying to find on Twitter if he was gonna play, and I couldn't find anything, man. It was just all questionable. I was scared, man. I was scared. Me being scared.
What's going on with Damian Harris? Because that man's not playing. He hasn't been active.
Well, he started off. This is what I was so confused. Stevenson started off not practicing, and Harris started off being limited.
Yeah.
Right. And then on Friday, Harris rolled out, and Stevenson was limited, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, maybe it's Pierre Strong. And so I picked up Pierre Strong, but I was like, I don't know, man. Oh man, it's just that whole situation was shitty.
Yeah. That's a tough one. You just gotta know. Start Ramondre Stevenson going forward.
Well,
wow.
forward for me now, but for everyone who got to get it past, great job. Start him forward.
Yeah. Not mad at you mentioned because you're right. You didn't have very much information, but all right. I got Jerick McKinnon. 2 straight weeks as the running back 10 carries, 8 receptions, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. Just been on a tear as of late. I mean, on one of the best offenses in the NFL, and as the receiving back in that offense, he's
what CEH was supposed to be.
Yeah, literally. Averaging 6 targets a game since their bye week. McKinnon is a must start going forward, I think. I mean, just so many targets down there. Luckily, I didn't need him to beat Keone this week. Keone still somehow made it into the playoffs. I don't know, but just an amazing game from Jerick McKinnon.
We got, failing upwards is still going up. So however you do it, as long as you get there. So the guy that I wish I could have, we're all doing running backs in this category because they just had a good week. It was just a good week for running backs. It's Tyler Algier, the Falcons running back. We kind of talked about this or something, that probably affected this from the news of Huntley being, injured. Unfortunately, this probably definitely helped Tyler Algier, because it's not a 3-headed monster anymore. It's just him and old man Patterson back there, and Patterson still did pretty good. He had a hard, run for a touchdown, kind of vultured one from Tyler Algier potentially, but he earned that run and that touchdown. But Algier did also great, had his 17 carries and a reception, most touches of the season, 139 yards on the ground, and found his faint way into the end zone. That's what you want to see from guys. I mean, not if they're on the bench, but, definitely a chance to play him moving forward, especially in the fantasy finals where they face Arizona. And so, yeah, just wish I had played him. Probably wasn't going to, but, would have been nice to know ahead of time. Could have given me the heads up.
Yeah. The hindsight's always 2020. So Ramondre Stevenson, Jarek McKinnon, and Tyler Algier, you guys are this week's If I Had One Wish Award winners. All right, this next award, a player who underperformed so bad they must have gotten their talent stolen. This is the Space Jam Award.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Tables. Well, my Space Jam Award is going to go to a man that holds a place special in my heart, Dalton Schultz, for being absolute ass this week versus the Jaguars, allowing Dawson Knox to take a 10-point lead and have a comeback, absolute crazy comeback in our bet with Keone. As you guys know, me and Keone made a bet about tight ends, and Dalton Schultz has been letting Keone down. And Dawson Knox came back, and if Keone loses, well, he will be jumping through a table. So, Bill fans, Daydreamer fans,
everyone,
let's go, Dawson Knox. Fuck you, Dalton Schultz, my Space Jam Award winner.
Oh, goodness.
Ryan almost gave up on this bet.
Yeah, I Rex riding the shit out of it, guys. I Rex riding the shit out of it. It's okay. But just like Rex, we'll go to the AFC conference championship game and lose with Mark Sanchez. Hey, it's all right.
It's all right. It's the witching hour right now where wins become losses and losses become wins. We still got to have faith.
You know what your favorite team did already. I mean, are we seeing a repeat performance?
No. It's not gonna. I'm different. I'm not defined by the team that I follow.
Chargers fans before. This is kind of a Chargers type of thing too. What they're doing.
Sometimes people say you always repeat your toxic relationships, and that is what it is with football.
Got a type.
Yeah, I guess. Just a giant red flag right on the face.
He's available.
Yeah, teams. I'm a nice catch. I'll root for you hard, even through the tough times.
Yep.
Yeah. So sign on to the Keone bandwagon.
Keeps things on the side, though. The Seahawks.
What? Well, I never said we're exclusive,
piece, bro. Little piece.
Keone got a little toxic trait too.
I did. We know going into it that it's not necessarily exclusive. We just want to have a good time. But and speaking of somebody, well, not a good time, but a bad time, was Brandon Ayuk. This was just not his week. We thought he might have a good performance with the absence of Deebo Samuel, freeing some of the touches and opportunities there, but clearly that was not the case. The ball was mainly funneled to Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, who both had fantastic games, like top 5 finishes for both of them. Top 1 for George Kittle, but Ayuk, not so much. 2 receptions on 4 targets for 19 yards. Not what you like to see. And it was a bad defense. Hard, but I guess it shows that it's really, really hard, even for NFL teams with such talented players, to facilitate more than like 2 big playmakers in any, on a team in any given game. It's really hard to do that, just week in and week out. And maybe when Debo left, he took a little bit of Ayuk's skill with him. Who knows? But hopefully he finds some of that Michael Jordan special stuff, before the game this upcoming week, because people are going to need it for their fantasy teams. So, but for the Seahawks, he was space jammed.
Yeah, it's tough. And whenever, Kittle and McCaffrey have such good weeks, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Whoever picked Kittle is a great.
Yeah, it's really smart. Big brain move right there. All right, I got Miles Sanders with Space Jam this week. I think we all know what happened here. While this offense is a juggernaut this season, it all runs through Jalen Hurts. And yes, I said runs through Jalen Hurts. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on the day, leaving Sanders with only 3 red zone touches all day. He only touched the ball 12 total times for 29 yards. Well, he had 1 reception, but it went for negative 13 yards, so that kind of hurt him. It's not very and he fumbled. It's not very surprising, because this could literally happen to Miles Sanders any week, every week. But Miles Sanders was definitely Space Jam by Jalen Hurts. So, Dalton Schultz, Brandon Ayuk, and Miles Sanders, you guys are this week's Space Jam Award winners. All right, this next award, last award of the day, this is a random player with a huge performance. This is the Where With Who award.
You've been where? Where who?
Keone wins this award. Keone, you've been where with who, bro? Been out with the Seahawks, bro. You.
My Where With Who award is going to go to Rashid, Shaheed, I think. The Saints receiver caught a deep bomb. Put up some good points. No one started him, but he's actually done that a few times where he's been a guy who caught a deep pass and 50-yard touchdown type of thing. So shout out to him. Good week this week, buddy.
Yeah, it wasn't Chris Olave. Ugh. So I got a guy who didn't have the biggest performance of the day. There were guys who definitely finished ahead of him, but for just the story and the ongoing, storyline of this. It's Noah Brown, of the Cowboys. He stole a blatant touchdown for Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was wide open in the end zone, defender behind him. If Dak Prescott was a better quarterback, he would have thrown it in right in front of Dalton Schultz, grab it, cradle it, get, only be 4 points away from Dawson Knox, may have changed the trajectory of this game.
3.5 with the catch.
Yeah, could have been ahead of him. Who knows? He might have gotten more passes. They could have maybe gone into the overtime, which they shouldn't have been in anyways. That was really dumb by them. But they could have gone into overtime, passing it to Dalton Schultz, maybe work your way down the field more, not throw an interception like a dummy Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is, I hate the way, I don't know, he just doesn't look good, and he's irritating and frustrating, and he goes to the wrong players. Also, Hendershot, who the hell is that? Get him out of here. Doesn't deserve a touchdown. No. You have one.
You know what? I'm changing my award winner. You're right. Hendershot, you are my Where With You, because you stole that touchdown from Dawson Knox. I'm changing changing my shit. Sorry, Shaheed, whatever your name is. Hendershot is now my Where With Who.
Awful.
Just in spite of Keone.
Oh, it's garbage. Like Dak Prescott, he I think needs some more rest or whatever, because his sleep number bed is not doing it. I don't know. He should get a different, maybe a purple mattress or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Lisa something.
It's just awful. But anyways, Brown had 6 catches for 9 targets for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. He could have given up one of those. I mean, gosh, so selfish. terrible, especially since one of them should have gone to Schultz. Like I said, awful, awful, awful. But yeah, the Cowboys lost though, so that's funny to the Jaguars in overtime. Hilarious. Yeah, just let the time run out. Just don't. I don't know. Anyways, it's a travesty. Dalton Schultz should have all the touchdowns.
All right. Oh, did we have a game on Saturday morning? First, the Colts versus the Vikings. First, Mr. Fitted leaves the game on the first offensive drive, never to return again, but always in my heart. Oh. But even with that, the Colts jumped out to a 33-0 lead. The rest is history. Well, and a lot of KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne is my Where With Who award winner this week. 10 receptions on 16 targets, 157 yards, scored a touchdown. He was all over the field on Saturday, and a huge reason the Vikings had the biggest comeback in NFL history to defeat the Colts. So, Hendershot, Noah Brown, and KJ Osborne, you guys are this week's Where With Who award winners. All right. That'll do it for the awards. Let's move on to our waiver wire. All right, switching it up a little bit here for the playoffs. You know, because waiver wire is not as deep. You're starting your studs right now. It's playoff time, baby. There's no buys no more. Let's go. Let's get it. So we're moving the bar a little bit. Who are you guys adding who's 50% or less rostered?
All right, I'll start us off. Jackie Taylor hurt his ankle on Saturday. We lost him early. And we got Deion Jackson, Zach Moss there, committee. Zach Moss, I don't love him, but he had 24 rush attempts. 24 last game. They gave him the volume he need. Now, Deion Jackson was more of the pass catcher, and he also got the touchdown. So I see both being good plays. They're both well under, like, I think they're both like under 10% or 12%, whatever. So they're available in a lot of leagues. But they're playing the Chargers next week. And this is where I kind of would leave a little more Zach Moss just because of rushing ability. But if Matt Ryan cannot move, he is going to dump the ball off. So Deion Jackson could be a good play too. These are both flex plays for me.
Matt Ryan had his longest run of his career this season, so I'll have you know.
I can't add Zach Moss. He looked terrible.
24 rush attempts.
I understand he looked so bad. I'm not going to do that to myself. Deion is a great ad, but I can't do that to myself with Zach Moss. He looked terrible, even with touching the ball so much. Yeah.
I don't want to do it either.
Yeah. I know. These are, I mean, hopefully you're not adding anyone on waivers. Your team is already set for playoffs, but this is if you have to. I got James Cook, running back for the Buffalo Bills, who is 47.4% rostered. 3 weeks in a row with James Cook getting 35% or more of the offensive snaps. He's getting more and more looks in this system. 2 of the 3 weeks he's been top 24 running back. It's playoff time, so there's not a ton of great ads this week. You should already have all backups rostered. Your AJ Dillon, who went off on Monday night. Just any of the backups there. And James Cook is one of those premier backups that even if you don't roster Singletary, if Singletary goes down, James Cook can slide right into a flex spot at any time. So
yeah. Well, yeah. So he's my guy is KJ Osborne. Oh, we talked about him earlier. But he's had a few good weeks now. I think he's 2.7% rostered, which kind of surprised me. You'd think he'd be in a little bit more leagues, but there's already, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But he's had a touchdown in the past 2 games and is averaging 10 targets over those 2 games and 7.5 catches in that same span. I know a lot of it was helped by this last game versus an unnamed opponent, but he seems to be now a reliant option for Kirk Cousins. They've been behind in a lot of these games because their defense is really bad. So they've had to throw the ball, and they may have to do that continuously. It might be, they might have better matchups versus the Giants and Green Bay, which is their next 2 teams that they face. But still, I think they're going to need to pass to be a part of these games. And, he's a deep waiver wire option, which I will just say he's, one of those guys that he's available. And if you want, he could maybe randomly get you wide receiver 1 numbers. Who knows? So if you're a gambler, then go for it. But if your team is set, then, it might just be a guy that you get to so other people don't. I don't know.
All right. My last guy is going to be Marquise Goodwin. Concept here is Tyler Lockett probably out with the broken finger. And he's basically, the number 2 option, I guess, in the wide receiver category. No offense there. They're going against the Chiefs next week in a crucial game for their season. They're 7-7, fighting for the playoff spot. It's a must-win game, and I think they're going to be able to put up points against the Chiefs, and he could be a good play. I mean, he was getting 4 or 5 targets a game with Lockett there. Maybe he gets 7 or 8 targets versus a bad to okay Chiefs defense.
Yeah, we saw when I think DK Metcalf was out that one game, he had a few touchdowns. And so he's just it's just Lockett and Metcalf are just that much they're the top 2 guys when they play. But when one of them is out, Goodwin is a great play from a great quarterback in Geno Smith. He's
I didn't say that.
Well, he's great. Well, he's a viable play from a great quarterback in Geno Smith. So this season, it's just a top 10 quarterback, and everybody loves him. And they're going through a rough patch, but that's fine. They're
top
gonna
12 quarterback. He's more than 11 and 12 range. I wouldn't say 10.
In terms of fantasy, I think he's top 10. And in my heart, he's
All right. My next ad, I think I would add KJ Osborne and Marquise Goodwin before this guy, but just giving you more options. I'm going with Noah Brown, who is 1.6% rostered. Wide receiver for the Cowboys. Keone talked about him a little bit. There's not a lot to say. Looked okay this week. 9 targets, getting a lot of looks. Playing over 70% of the offensive snaps, so he's on the field. It seems to be the second wide receiver before Gallup a lot of the times here for Dak Prescott. So I'd go ahead and go pick up Noah Brown if you have to.
So yeah, a lot of these guys are going to be kind of deep wide receiver options that you might not play, but if you're injured in any case or what have you, they may provide you something. And my last waiver wire guy is somebody who can provide you with a floor. Sometimes you want to hit home runs while you're in playoffs, but not everybody can do that. So you might need a guy who you can put in who are all right, I need a solid guy who will stay firm, stay strong, and get me, 7 to 12 points. That's more than nothing. He's not necessarily going to win and get wide receiver 1 or upper wide receiver 2 numbers, but he's there and he's solid. So it's going to be Darius Slayton, 42.2% rostered. I know we haven't heard much from the Giants wide receivers this season, but he is averaging 6.8 targets over the last 5 games and is 66.5 yards per game over the last 6. So if you combine those two, that's a pretty good floor. Probably not going to get in the end zone, but still, that's if you're going to play him, that's not what you're expecting. Not going to win you a game, but probably, hopefully, not going to lose you it, which is maybe just as important in playoffs, because if you take a big swing and you might end up with egg on your face or hitting yourself. I don't know. But with him, he's going to make a solid single base hit down the line and set up the rest of your team. They face Minnesota this week, and so that's a bad defense or like a good defense for him to play against. So yeah, Darius Slayton.
All right. Let's get into our streaming options.
Stream on, stream on.
Oh, that felt different than last week.
Mm-hmm.
That felt live.
Yeah.
That was live. I deleted the sound by accident.
So, who are you streaming this week at quarterback and tight end?
I'm gonna go Kenny Pickett if he plays. It's deep play here, deep play. But
Yeah. Real deep.
I'm low-key spaced on who they're playing. I forgot. Detroit.
No.
This is my bad. This is horrible. This is horrible podcasting.
Why do I not know this? They play the Raiders. That's why.
Oh, they play the Raiders.
On Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is me riding or dying that this Vegas team is bad, and I don't think their defense is. Well, I think it's easy to go against, and Kenny Pickett, I think will show out. I think the offense kind of woke up a little bit. Now, if it's Mr. Trubisky, I don't know if I would start him. Fuck, I don't know if I could start Mr. Trubisky, but Kenny Pickett's the guy I'm going with.
Fair enough. I'm going with another deep guy because these are streaming options. You're obviously going to start your studs. But say your stud is you relied on Jalen Hurts this entire season. You're like, I don't need anybody else. He's the MVP, and you haven't been wrong, but he's injured now. And so it's like, I need a guy. You might have used your other quarterbacks for trades, what have you. Davis Mills. The Texans, they really at this point have nothing to lose. I mean, they've almost pretty much locked up that first spot in next year's draft, and they're just slinging the ball around. I know they're doing kind of a quarterback by committee, but Davis Mills is clearly getting the better of the work. They also face the Titans, which have allowed the most yards to opposing quarterbacks this year with 4,219. They've also allowed 25 touchdowns, which is tied for second. And they've also had a few rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. The Titans are a vulnerable defense versus the position. And I also feel like the Texans will be playing from a behind position because there's a big guy named King Henry who absolutely dominates versus the Texans. And so he's probably going to get a lot of points and have the score, have the Texans be chasing it. So he might have to throw it, to Chris Moore, to other people. I don't know really who much else is on this Texans team. But they're going to throw the ball. They're going to have to. So he might get you around 20 points, and that's what you're shooting for from a streamer.
All right. I'm going with not so deep of a streamer as you guys. I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa. Who, past couple weeks it's been pretty rough for Tua. Hasn't been inside the top 12 in 4 weeks now since their bye. 3 straight losses also for this Miami Dolphins offense. I mean, Tua's numbers have been down, completion percentage down, yards down, touchdowns down. This Dolphins team needs a spark here. They need to turn it around against Green Bay at home, not having to worry so much about the weather this week. I think it could get done. And I think Tua is a guy you can lean on to start. He showed it earlier in the season that he is capable of making those plays. I think this is a week it could happen again.
He is the Samoan slingshot. So you need to work the bands a little bit of the slingshot. When it's too cold, you only get a little bit. But when it's warm, they'll go far.
Oh, they stretch, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be horrible. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know how to say this guy's name. Chingozam. Titans tight end. Not Austin Hooper. That guy is really good.
Just give me one
I
try
tried.
at it.
I tried.
I didn't even hear the last. You didn't even try the last.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I should. Ian, what is it? Are you here? Say it so people could actually add him.
Chigo Zim Okonkwo?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okonkwo?
it's the last. Yeah, the last name is Okonkwo.
Yeah.
Okonkwo?
Yeah.
Aaron just
Oh well, that's who I think you guys should pick up. I think he's low-key been on fire. They seem like a team that needs weapons, and he's explosive. I saw him run a route out of the backfield. I saw him play a couple snaps at wide receiver. They were just using them all over. The targets are there, and I think an offense that is struggling so much that needs a win desperately, so they don't have to play that final Sunday in a win or go home situation. Versus a Texans teams they can beat, they can be available.
So I got another guy who's pretty hot right now. It's Juwan Johnson, Double J, JJ.
I thought you were going to say Dawson Knox.
No, technically he's never. He has Juwan Johnson of the New Orleans Saints has averaged 7 touchdowns over his last 7 games. So he might not get a ton of yards, but he's targeted a good amount for a tight end between like 4 and 7 times per game, depending. But that's 7 in 7 games. That means he has a chance to get in the end zone. And for a tight end, that is huge. That is the difference between like outside the top 12 and inside the top 5. So they face Cleveland, which is kind of a tough matchup, but a trip to the end zone makes it all go away. And so I think you can take the chance on him if you want to, and hoping for that end zone, that touchdown from Juwan Johnson.
I like it. I got Evan Ingram, who's been on a tear recently. This whole Jaguars offense has been clicking as of late. Trevor Lawrence looking good. Zay Jones and Marvin Jones scored a touchdown this week. It's been looking good for the Jags. And Evan Ingram, the past 3 weeks, has been looking great, getting 10.7 targets, averaging 10.7 targets a game, 8 receptions a game, 84.7 yards, averaging a touchdown a game. Playing against the Jets, that's a pretty good defense, but I think you can trust Evan Ingram to be a top 12 tight end moving forward.
Absolutely. I was just saying he's the executioner to T-Law for T-Law. Yeah, anyways.
I don't know. That might be Zay Jones. Zay Jones has had some nasty catches in the past.
I know. Zay Jones is like the deputy or something, or the marshal. But I just like the Evan Ingram, the triple E's.
I can't wait to see this offense next year with Calvin Ridley. Like Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. Just that could be a great offense.
Dougie P bringing some stuff together.
He was pulling some shit out.
Yeah, bro.
He was pulling some shit.
Got the win, bro. He's a good coach. He's going to be playing for a playoff spot here.
Dude, that was filthy.
Amazing. That'll do it for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, tell your friends. Go ahead and like, subscribe, follow wherever you are listening to this. We got a website, fantasydaydreamers.com, where we got all of our content and articles if you want to read some stuff about fantasy football coming out. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at FF Daydreamers. Follow along there. We follow back. Twitch.com/Daydreamer Media. You guys want your questions answered? That's the easiest way. Come hang out on Monday and Wednesday nights. So tomorrow night, if you're listening to this, hopefully on Tuesday, tomorrow night, come hang out with us. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, just a little piece of advice for playing fantasy playoffs. Don't overthink things. Don't work yourself into a losing position. Just start your studs, trust your instinct, and do not overthink things.
And remain dreaming.
Yes,
Stay
continue
dreaming.
continue to stay dreaming.